This story it's one of those, I'm glad I'm a dude stories.
Great.
This is going to make every woman out there literally cringe. And this was actually a headline we just did, and it's in France. And the story itself is huge in France right now. And we'll just get into it. But it's 2020, and a creep was caught at a supermarket. And you want to take a guess what he was doing?
Masturbating.
Touching himself, yeah.
He wasn't doing the thing that the guy with the cucumber was doing.
Oh, God.
So that's probably good.
Yeah, that was not pleasant.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. In 2020, this guy right here, can you describe this gentleman for us?
Old white guy.
Old white guy. Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, I
He
mean,
looks British, but you said he's French. So, I mean, European, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. So this guy is in a supermarket, and he is caught red-handed, and what he is doing is he has a camera and he's trying to get shots up skirts.
Upskirt Kirk.
Upskirt Kirk, yeah. He is trying to get upskirt videos. That's so weird.
Yeah.
How does that turn people on? You don't see anything unless they're not wearing underwear or something.
It's the whole voyeurism thing. You know, it's like they're turned on by that thing.
Do you remember that there's a movie about a guy who ran a motel?
Yes.
Yes. It's called Voyeur.
There you go.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a good movie.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, like the
Yes.
Target dude. That was...
Yes. That's right. We covered that on headlines, and that was disturbing.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So this happened in 2020, and the French police, they go to his home and they go through his computer because, he is... Obviously, he's been doing this for a while. He's a creep. He's a pervert. So they go through his computer and...
He's a creep. He's a weirdo.
What?
What the hell is he doing here? He doesn't belong here.
She's singing lyrics.
Oh.
She's singing some Radiohead.
They go through his computer and they are on the hard drive. It's actually a thumb drive they have. They plug it in, boom. They're trying to find other pictures so they can prosecute this guy. And they go to a folder on the hard drive labeled abuse.
Oh, abuse.
It's actually labeled abuses, but abuse. The folder is labeled...
As if one abuse isn't enough, it has to be abuses.
The folder is labeled abuses, and I know we just you probably remember this on the headlines we just covered, but between July 2011 and 2020, when they finally went through his computer, they found in this folder labeled abuses at least 200 instances of rape.
Jesus.
From this man at his home while his wife is unconscious. And not only was he in these videos raping her, there had been, quote, more than 90 strangers in the videos as well.
What?
So that's who we're talking about tonight. We're talking about...
like he was running a rape circle?
We're talking about Gisele Pelicot, who is testifying right now as we speak, because this is happening right now, against her husband of 50 years, because for 10 years he has been drugging her until she was unconscious and then filming her getting raped by up to 90 people.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think we did cover the headline, yeah.
So not only is he in trial, there are 50 other rapists that were on the videos in trial as well. They're doing groups of them. They're literally grouping them in like
Holy
fives.
Shit.
And that's what we're talking about tonight. It gets pretty disgusting. But
Jesus.
Have you seen this one? Have you heard this, Jen?
No.
It's not like on TikTok or anything?
Haven't really seen a lot of true crime on my FYP lately. It's been a lot of Chapel Roan and educator stuff.
The horrifying rape case rolling France. This is Gisele. This is the victim right here. Most rape cases like this, the perpetrators, including her husband of 50 years, 5 decades, they would want it to be silent, and they wouldn't want the victim wouldn't want to release her name. They want to do it like under the books, but not her. She is not only being extremely public about it, she's also trying to out everyone who raped her, and it is crazy right now, because that's a lot. It's a town of only 6,000 people, and 90 guys at least are on film raping this woman.
Do we think they were all all residents, or was this like a tourist area, you know? I wonder if people were like traveling in for...
We're going to go through it here in a second. This is from France24.com. This is what Gisele Pelicot says.
The police saved my life by investigating Mr. Pelicot's murder, Gisele Pelicot told the court in the southern city of Avignon, referring to her husband, one of 51 of her alleged abusers, on trial by only his last name.
So there are more. I think the final number that they're settling on now is 74 or 72. But I've seen up to 90, and obviously they can't get everyone, you know, but they got 50, not including the husband, so 51 altogether go into trial.
So I'm saying this now, you don't have to answer it now, but I want to ask it before I forget. The fact that these were all taped, were they snuff films that he was selling on the dark web or something?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
A lot of it's not known yet because it's ongoing. 90 minutes of testimony is what Gisele gave in court. She spoke of mysterious health problems in the last 10 years. So she's been married for 50 years to this guy. And apparently since 2011, he's been doing this. And since then, she's had multiple health problems that she can't explain.
Well, I wonder if it's related to the trauma.
Like, for instance...
Or random blackouts?
Like strange memory lapses, but also health problems like hair loss, weight loss, dizziness, random stuff that she can't explain, right? She thought she may have Alzheimer's. That's how she was explaining to herself, at least, why she's losing time. She's blacking out in the middle of the day. She blacks out, has no idea what went on, and you know, she thought she is thinking she has Alzheimer's.
For me, everything is falling apart. I've built up over 50 years, Gisele Pelicot said.
That's a good point. She probably did. She may actually have an STD. That's a really good point. She said Dominique, her husband of 50 years, was a, quote, super guy. Now, they also have a daughter and 2 sons. In meeting with the police, Gisele said that, or the police came out and said this Gisele was shown these, quote, barbaric pictures where, quote, I'm lying motionless on the bed being raped.
So she had not seen those photos of herself before?
No.
The trial?
No. This only came to light because they go and search the husband's computer and there's a folder labeled abuses of him and 90 other people raping his wife while she's unconscious. Frankly, these are scenes of horror for me, she says. I did put a little question here. Don't think about it too hard, but imagine just for a second, just try to put yourself in the shoes of this woman. She goes to the police station. They say, you know, we need you to see something. I don't know how to break this, but we need you to watch these videos. And let's say you're her. You're in the police station and you are watching in third person yourself unconscious getting raped by stranger after stranger after stranger after stranger after stranger. Imagine how disconnected you must feel. Like that's not me. That can't be me, but it is me.
Must be like an out of body experience to watch yourself and not know that was happening.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is a husband of 50 years. 50 years.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
50 effing years.
I mean, it would be disgusting if it was a stranger. It's honestly horrifying.
So she is what, 70?
I wonder what happened like after 50 years that made him do this.
Well, I'll tell you what happened.
Or in 2011 he started, right? So
well, he probably started before that. He's probably just starting to film it in 2011. But just to answer that question now is because she didn't want to participate in a swing relationship, an open relationship. She didn't want to sleep with other people. So that is his excuse. That is what he is saying. That is why he did it, because she didn't want to be a swinger.
There is no excuse for that. That is terrible.
So it's like he was forcing her to be a swinger, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What in the world? They treat me like a rag doll, she told 5 judges, adding she had only plucked up the courage to watch the video footage in May.
Quote, don't talk to me about sex scenes. These are rape scenes. She said on Thursday, emphasizing that she had never practiced swinging or any other forms of libertine sex. Now, this is also this is a terrible case. It's horrific, right? But it's also a little different in France because, the French are they're more, I don't know, how do you say it? They're more fluid with experimental and fluid with their sexuality. In fact, they're only now just hitting the Me Too thing. Like there was a French actor, I don't know the details, but apparently he is outed for raping some woman or whatever. So they're now just getting to the Me Too, like really
interesting,
the Harvey Weinstein stuff. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And over there, it's like, whatever. It's more of whatever laissez-faire type of stuff than it is here. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, some countries don't take sexual assault very seriously.
Yeah, free. Like they're a free type of,
And that would get people to confuse like what is consensual and not, I think, right?
Well, she definitely didn't consent. She was
right.
She was never complicit, and she had, quote, never pretended to be asleep, end quote. The reason she's saying this, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Well, did you know this was happening? I mean, of course you had to know this was happening. Were you pretending to be asleep? I mean...
Jesus.
That's why I would hate to be a woman. You get raped and no one believes you.
And somehow it's it might be your own fault. Yeah.
Well, what were you wearing? I mean, look, you were teasing them earlier. What'd you expect?
Yeah, it's despicable.
It sucks. She says, quote, I feel disgusted. Inside, I'm a, quote, field of ruins. So 50 additional rapists were tracked down by the police, not including the husband. Most of these rapists, and they're being tried in groups because it would cost a literal fortune to try all 50 of them.
So crazy.
So they're trying them in groups, right?
Wow. I mean, honestly, like if you think about it, I'm trying to think if there's been a situation like that before, I can't think of one.
Yeah, it probably is. Just haven't been caught like this.
Jesus.
The only reason he's caught is because he was doing the voyeurism.
Yeah.
Luckily, each one of these rapists face at least 20 years if convicted. I don't.
Well, that's good.
I don't know what they're going to get, but I think they're going to get the hammer.
I would hope so.
From what the public sentiment is now, especially if they're like just now hitting that not women's rights, but that, the whole Me Too thing. They may hit it hard. You remember, what's his name? Masterson got like 30 years to life?
Can't remember what his sentence was, but it was hefty.
It was hefty, and which is good, but it was also because of the Me Too stuff. Like it was in the time, it was just the wrong time for him.
Or I don't know if it's going to decrease though over time. I think crimes get taken more seriously, and I hope that would not be seen as a quote unquote trend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. With a crime like that, like if the punishment were to decrease over time, like that says more about like our culture and culture of the world than it does about actually caring about the crime.
Yeah, it's a good thing that I think the penalties have increased for assault cases.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So I get what you're saying. It's like the sentencing and the punishment has gotten more severe with the movement, and I think we're just saying hopefully it stays that way and it's not a
right.
The movement.
Do you think that the punishment was increased because the incidents were trending, like were like increasing, like because there were more and more incidents? It's like, okay, well, like this is a serious crime, you can't do this, so it's going to be a harsher punishment? Or do you think it had to do with the fact that like it was just up in everyone's face?
Here's the thing I'm worried about. I mean, this town, Mazan, or however you pronounce it, 6,000 people. They're going to spend a lot of money to try these people. And I don't know if the rapists are going to be in, their prison there, but that's a lot of space taken up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that doesn't affect it. And that's sad that it may. It's like, well, we can't afford to try this other group, type of thing. I'm not saying that could happen, but it's a small village. I mean, 6,000 people is hefty, but I don't know though.
I don't think I don't think a affordability could be a factor, especially in a case that's as high profile as this. Not that it should ever be a factor, honestly, but
yeah, I mean that's why it's good.
Especially if there's like video footage, you can't not prosecute.
Yeah,
like you can't not take somebody to court when there's physical evidence, because that's what makes those types of crimes so hard to get a conviction for in the first place. You cannot ignore that.
Yeah.
If it's on camera.
200 instances of rape by her husband and more than 90 strangers between July 2011 and 2020. Ages 26 to 74. Small town, 6,000 people. Eventually, you probably run into someone you know. Can you read the next one?
Jesus, yeah.
So she recognized one man from the video that would always come up to her and talk in the bakery. Very nice guy. Would always talk to the husband about cycling. That's why he would come over to the house.
Wow.
And yeah, he was just a nice guy.
I saw him now and then in the bakery. I would say hello. I never thought he'd come and raped me, she said.
This guy is saying hello to her.
That's fucked up, too.
Oh, you're buying some nice fluffy bread today. I like that. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see you again.
And she's like, okay, I'll see you at the next time at the bakery. And meanwhile, he's like,
yeah, I'll see you fucking tomorrow.
Twisted.
I'll see you tomorrow.
That is so fucking twisted. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
you see the guy at the bakery, and he says hi to you all the time, and this guy is secretly raping you.
Can you think you got to think about that too for a second. Like, imagine, your typical, just someone that you are familiar with because you have the same grocery routine, right? Every Sunday, whatever, someone that you always see.
Mm-hmm.
That is freaking freaky.
I feel like the way she said it, though, this guy initiates the conversation. Oh, hey, it's so good to see you again. Oh, because you got to be a special type of person to do that. There's a special place for you.
Fucking hell, yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
Very few men in the chat today.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys opening up about your experiences. Yeah. It seems like a lot of, it seems like more than.
The statistics are, what was it, 95% of women are sexually assaulted in their life?
95%?
95?
That's what, I don't know if that's the right statistic. That's what Lauren had posted. What is the statistic?
What counts as that? Is it full rape or what?
It doesn't have to be rape.
Does that count as you smack someone on the butt at work? Does that count too? What's the barrier there for?
I don't know what the barrier is.
Because that is extremely. I mean, that is really high.
1 in 6 is the victim of an attempted or completed rape in her lifetime.
1 of 6.
1 of 6. Then you would say, that's just attempted rape. That's not even going into sexual assault. And that's probably
low because most women wouldn't come forward.
Another recent statistic says, 97% of women between the ages of 18 and 24 have been sexually harassed in the UK. I mean, you could just it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted.
How many, what's the percentage of men that
3%
of what?
But that
of the number.
What do you mean?
But here's the thing though, that's what's reported.
Yeah, also true. Yes.
Men, I feel like the situations with men happen.
You can make that argument with women,
they are far
too.
less likely to report it happening.
What, with men?
Yes.
Like a man getting raped?
But women don't report it either. Actually, this website on the statistics says 1 in 5 women have experienced an attempted rape or completed rape. 1 in 5.
That's 20%.
And that is just not even saying sexual assault.
Right.
Which could be someone, reaching out, trying to grab my breast just for the hell of it. That would be assault, sexual assault.
Mm-hmm. Or that time that we never mind.
That's 6 and 6 women.
Probably every woman has experienced some form of inappropriate, unwanted behavior. How's that? Because I can say somebody tried to rape me when I was in college. I'm 1 in that 5. We have, how many people are on the chat? Shram, Andalyn also said yeah, and Lauren. So out of literally 5 women, 4 of 5.
No, 5.
5 of 5. That's a pretty fucking terrible statistic.
I don't know. That is crazy. I feel like I wonder if it's always been that way. I
think the answer is yes. I think it just people didn't talk about it because, again, people didn't take it seriously, or it was what, you're supposed to like that. You know what I mean? You're supposed to submit. and women feel ashamed because you wonder, what did I do wrong? What should I have done differently? What should I, there's a lot of blame.
I wonder, I mean, obviously the hope is that those numbers decrease anyway, but I'm curious to see in the next generation of like the Gen Zs, if the numbers will drop, because there has been way more awareness of what consent is for them. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think that will, yes, there's that awareness, but there's,
I mean, look how many people are like that Andrew Tate guy.
That's exactly where I was going. I was talking to colleagues whose daughter was in high school, and male students were wanting to write a report about idolizing him. So yeah, there's consent, and there's a lot of great guys out there that are aware that they no means no or whatever, but I really don't think it's going to improve all that much.
All right, the police.
Maybe that's just the pessimist in me on that.
The police.
No, I don't know. I think that's being a realist, but I'm also curious about the percentage of assailants with concurrent mental health problems. Because rape, I feel like, and sexual assault, regardless of if it's coming from a man or a woman, it seems to be about control. And that's something a lot of people with anxiety struggle with, is that fear of not having control over your situation. So I'm wondering, and it's not excusing it by any means of the situation, but I wonder what
if mental health improves, will rates improve, kind of a thing,
or if mental health plays a part in sexually assaulting someone.
That's interesting. It's an interesting perspective for sure. I mean, if more people are getting help for mental health, I don't know if more people necessarily are. I think it's at least kind of more widely known, but if more people are getting appropriate medication, maybe. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, when you think about people who had it happen to them who also become offenders, you know what I mean? I wonder what the percentage rate is that.
Yeah.
Again, not an excuse, but that's a traumatic experience.
They searched his computer and they find all these videos. When he confesses, because he does, they ask him, how are you knocking your wife out? And this is probably the cause of a lot of the medical issues. I know trauma, obviously, too, but he would use a different concoction of several different drugs, including Tamarest, which is an anti-anxiety drug, but also can be used as a sedative. Also Zolpidem, which is a hypnotic. That's actually the same, correct me if I'm wrong, but Zolpidem is what the, Phoebe Handzuk, you remember?
That sounds familiar.
Not to bring up anything, Shram, but that drug
a sleeping pill, wasn't it?
Is a sleeping pill, and that drug was found in multiple women who did that. I believe that's the drug. I remember the Zolpidem, and I remember that it's a hypnotic. Maybe that was another case I'm doing, but what I'm trying to say is it's a very strong hypnotic. Yeah, it causes sleep drowsiness, but it's also a powerful hypnotic as well. So it kind of makes you, So the husband, Dominique, of 50 years, found these men to rape his wife in a message board called, quote, without their knowledge, end quote, on a now defunct website called Coco.
That's a thing?
Whoa.
What the fuck?
Without their knowledge is the message board. Can you read from Vox?
From Vox, on the site, Dominique Pelicot solicited men to assault his wife, giving them specific instructions, including not wearing perfume or smoking to avoid detection. The identities of these defendants haven't been revealed, though. Why? Though authorities note that they range from the ages of 26 to 74, that many have partners, and that they have come from a wide spectrum of backgrounds, including firefighters, journalists, and soldiers.
I will tell you why they haven't released them. Not that this is not my opinion. I'm just telling you why. Because a lot of them have been released on social media. And let's say a father has kids in middle school. Well, the kids are getting backlash for what their father is being accused of. You see what I'm saying? The family, I've seen specific instances in this case where the child
is suffering.
Of the father is being bullied, at school because of this. So I don't know. That's a whole nother dynamic. Because, let's release all the names, but it's kind of screwed up, man. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that I'm pretty sure all the names will get out, but a lot of them have been kind of thrown out there on social media, which, we're not going to be able to see because it's all in French, right? Yeah. But they have really been trying to sequester that information from getting out. Caroline Darien is their daughter of Dominique and Gisele. Dominique and Gisele. She's actually also testifying because in that computer hard drive, there were also nude photos of her, their own daughter. Boy. So she says, this is I feel like you just gave up on humanity.
Pretty much.
This is from the Independent. Daughter of man accused of drugging wife raped by 72 men says he is one of the greatest sexual predators. So this is the daughter and her mother.
One of the greatest. Wow.
You can definitely tell they're related. They look mother-daughter there. She was 46. There were pictures of her found on the hard drive, and this is an interview with her. I'm going to read a little bit of it. It's pretty screwed up, I know, right? It says, quote, "How do you rebuild yourself from the ashes when your father is undoubtedly one of the greatest sexual predators of recent years?" It also emerged on Friday. She herself was allegedly secretly photographed in the nude by her father, with the images apparently stored in a file entitled, quote, "Around my daughter naked." And some of the
do people think before they title these things? I mean, clearly not. They don't think anyone's going to find them. But
you know what it reminds me of? So we covered a headline, and this is probably inappropriate, but remember there was a headline, and this woman, most likely in Florida, I believe, was arrested because she had a bag, and it said bag of drugs. There was drugs in the bag. Okay, I guess that wasn't There were also similar, quote, degrading, humiliating pictures of her two sister-in-laws while they were taking a bath. So this was at the family home. Quote, "There, I discovered myself and I understood that the man who was my father, in whom I had total confidence, who I thought had integrity, who respected his daughter, who was proud of her, who had always encouraged her, I discovered that, in fact, my father had photographed me without my knowledge, naked." That is, "Where will these photos be when I'm dead?" she asked. "These degrading, humiliating shots were taken in the most intimate room. Who did my father send them to? Where are they? Where will they be in 5 years, in 10 years, when I'm dead? Will my children one day come across them? Why did my dad look at me like that?"
Jesus Christ, that is sad.
Yeah, no shit, right? When the mom tells the daughter about everything going on, she says, quote, "When I told my daughter, she screamed like a wild beast. I will never forget this. When I told my sons about this, I don't think they really understood. They were withdrawn and didn't react much. I think they were in a state of shock. They said, 'Don't say silly things.' That evening, the children rang all the time saying, 'Don't disappear.' They were worried I might die." This is what the mother's saying.
Christ.
Yeah, they are not having a good few weeks, I'm telling you that. As I said, the rapists who entered the house were told not to talk loudly. They had to remove their clothes in the kitchen, and they were instructed not to wear perfume or smell of tobacco.
From Vox, although she had the option of a private trial, Gisele Pelicot decided to make the proceedings public in order to support and raise awareness for other victims of similar crimes. "I speak for all women who are drugged and don't know about it. I do it on behalf of all women who will perhaps never know."
She says, quote, "I no longer have an identity. I don't know if I'll ever rebuild myself," end quote. So she was also talking about how rape victims, I'm thinking of this one scene from The Sopranos where the psychiatrist gets raped, and then every scene after that, she's kind of like a different person. Do you remember that? I remember when the main guy, he knows something's wrong with her, but it's like her personality's completely changed.
Sure, how can you trust anybody?
So anyway,
that's great writing.
What, The Sopranos?
I haven't seen the whole series. I think I'm on episode 3, but
sorry for the spoiler.
Sorry.
That's okay. But like the details, and I'm sorry to take this conversation a different way, but like a lot of times you don't have that type of continuity in a show like that. You know what I mean? Like where that's
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Well, so let's go back real quick. Not to say anything bad with the Sons, but I was hoping y'all would
Why the fact that they were withdrawn and quiet about it?
Well, and they said, quote, don't say silly things.
That it's hard to believe that other men could be such monsters, including ones they know personally.
Yeah, I guess. Or no, not. I'm trying to say is men don't understand.
No,
I
that's
guess
true.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Got it.
Like when The Sopranos, when the lady completely changed her personality. Like the main guy didn't understand. He knew something was wrong, but he didn't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So this is pretty terrible, right?
Yeah. Honestly, horrific.
Yeah. Can you let's talk about this guy, the husband of 50 years, Dominique.
From The Guardian, Marianne Duteau, a psychologist, described Pelicot as a quick-tempered man who inspired fear like the father he despised. The sexuality of Mr. Pelicot appears modeled on his character. Ordinary in public, but within his couple, he had a tenacious sexuality as seen in the swinging that his wife refused and which he compensated for by using porn chat websites, she said.
So this is kind of interesting too, because it seems like, here comes the psychiatrist and the psychologist, right? And they're going to try to explain why this guy
he's fucked up. He's just fucked up.
He's been raping his wife. But so the explanation is that one other psychologist described him as, quote, self-centered and a man who considered people as objects to manipulate and to lie to. But they say the unconscious raping could be linked to a fantasy of necrophilia, and allegedly Dominique, the guy, allegedly Dominique was raped by a male nurse at the age of 9, and that may have caused a, quote, split in his psyche. They're basically trying to say that he's split personality. That's what they're going with. These are psychologists for the defense and the prosecution, right? So but I think they're kind of diluting the whole thing. Oh yeah, he's a split personality. He's
just a monster. Let's just call it like it is.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is I hope it doesn't dilute it.
No, I don't think it does.
Yeah. Okay. So this is from CBS News. Frenchman on trial over wife's mass rape hospitalized before giving testimony. And it says he has been hospitalized, and it says he's a 71-year-old retiree. He was an electrician, and let me see. He was hospitalized until his mental health improves. So I guess he was like, I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, he's hospitalized, not even in jail? Seriously?
Medical staff took samples for analysis yesterday and do not have the results. Mr. Pelicot is said to still be unwell. I will during the day request emergency care, he said, adding that he could be led to suspend the hearings for a few days if his health didn't improve.
I wonder how much. He better be going to prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be
one would hope.
A Joseph Fritzl type of thing.
Jesus Christ almighty.
I can't see how it's not going to be a Joseph Fritzl type of thing. All right, so anyway, let's see if there's any current news that had just happened. Since this is going on now, let's see if there's anything in the news now. No, the last thing it says was he was hospitalized. So they're going to push the trial back.
What for what reason? What's wrong with his health?
We don't know yet. Yeah, this is still in development, right? So I gave you all the facts that we know pretty much. Yeah, so the last one headline I'm seeing was from the BBC, French village torn apart by horror of mass rape trial. Yeah, that's the last one. Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens.
We got to follow up on that one.
Oh, this is interesting. This is some of the...
There you go, Lauren.
What? This is seems to be some of the rapists.
Oh, they don't want their faces shown.
Look at this guy. Holy shit. What is... they were on a website or a website thread with or without their knowledge. Holy shit, right? What in the fuck, man?
That's so despicable. Oh, wow. Well, thanks for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can read what Lauren's punishment should be for him.
Yeah, no shit. It says, I can't read it and look at it at the same time.
She says, I think he should get gang raped in prison while he's awake multiple times. Yeah. By upwards of 90 people, I think, actually, would be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of 20 years.
Yeah.
I feel like that's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad, right?
Yeah, that's really terrible.
So we'll see. I mean, not only her daughter too. I mean,
I just can't fathom that. That's just like a different kind of
That's
fucked
her-
up.
I mean, who knows? Like maybe they do have videos of the daughter doing, getting raped too. I mean, hope not, but shit, like
Yeah,
can't put it
that's
past them.
terrible. Absolutely terrible. Jesus Christ.
So
Wow.
that was that was that.
Just a nice, lighthearted story.
That's pretty much all we got now as far as what they released. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, 92, was it 72 confirmed up to 90. 51 rapists are going to trial.
Not enough.
Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that mass rape case we just presented.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. I'm going to go have a nice,
See, I want to do this, right?
lighthearted dreams this evening.
Do you guys like this? If I focus
Yeah.
more on doing
Yeah.
these live streams instead of like having to do a story and yada yada and have to put it out,
Yeah,
if
I
we
like
just
it.
do this shit.
It's a full story.
Yeah, I know, but
I
it's
know.
more like it's what's happening now in the news. And then I'm focusing on a serial killer, and I'll have like 10 episodes about that, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think that's better.
It's whatever you want to do, What if you're vibing on this? Oh man. Well, have a great night, guys. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a great night. Oh my God. I couldn't imagine being a woman. I wouldn't even want to go to sleep.
Yeah, thanks
I'd be
for
thinking of
ruining our
that.
dreams.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you tomorrow, actually. So until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.
Kind of run this shit.